Now, anyone who thought that clip ended there, you're dead wrong. Because apparently, a precedent had been set in this case. And of course, many, including members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, also watched that as it all happened. Well, the discussions this time didn't stop in their parlor or offices. They took a step further. Two groups, just as we saw in the Nigeria Governors Forum, this time groups of 5 and 27 members emerged in the State Assembly, laying claim to the leadership of the House. It may sound dramatic, but take a look.
This is the Rivers State House of Assembly turned into a battleground. We understand that some armed men attacked the assembly complex, attempting to snatch the symbol of authority, the mace, from the speaker after allegedly dealing him some slaps.
Yesterday, I officially directed the clerk to write to the Commissioner of Police for police security because of what happened on the 6th of May. When some hoodlums came and invaded the assembly. So we didn't want a repeat of that. And so I directed the clerk to write to the Commissioner of Police and to the brigade commander. To my greatest surprise, I did not see one single army there. The police that came were acting funny.
Apparently, word was sent to the governor about the situation.
Go back.
But security officials were also caught up in the heat of the moment and engaged themselves in a skirmish at the government house gates. Under the driving rain, Governor Chibike Amechi, accompanied by his security detail, heads up to the trouble spot, obviously to intervene and calm things down. He is greeted by scenes of pandemonium. One of the souvenirs from the Battle of the House of Assembly is the broken mace. Uniformed and plainclothes security agents, armed to the teeth, rushing with weapons drawn, an indication that all hell has broken loose. Perhaps the Rivers Assembly drama may be over for now, but there are some casualties, as reflected in a broken rear windshield.
The Commissioner of Information alleged that some armed men had threatened to shoot the governor but were prevented. However, the PDP chairman in Rivers State, Mr. Felix Obua, claimed that there were no hoodlums at the House of Assembly. Rather, he advised the Speaker, Otelemaba Amakri, to take it in good faith if he has been impeached. Now, here is another honorable member of the House who claims to be the new Speaker.
Oh, Governor, even though the shot of my colleagues, and it's so damning and embarrassing. Oh, Governor, who came here and supervised the beating of my colleagues.
The long-drawn conflict in the Rivers State PDP, which before now was restricted to exchange of words, has finally boiled over, with the actors coming to blows. In which direction this wind will blow from now, we'll just have to wait and see. Charles Aruka, reporting for Channels Television News.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Commissioner of Police, aided by his command, has made the House of Assembly of Rivers State to be unable to function. And therefore, we must exercise our responsibilities. And the state has no quarrel with other security agencies, only the police. And we must act, Mr. Speaker.
That since the police has become an instrument in this matter, since the police has shown that they are clearly compromised and then are partisan in this issue, since the police has shown that they can compromise the security of certain individuals and certain groups, to the benefit of the other. And since I know that the police commissioner reports to people, that there's also a political authority that also the police reports to, I would say that we'll go further than that to invite the Inspector General of Police to appear before this house tomorrow, so that what action will be taken, we can discuss this matter tomorrow, and questions will be put to him so that we can take urgent action, because I don't think these appeals are working.
And Mr. Speaker, I saw a policeman who got on, who was kicking somebody on the floor. He did that almost for a couple of seconds. There was a gentleman in white who took something looked like a tripod and was hitting another colleague on the head. And that one held his head, blood was all over his head. And we're all watching. Mr. Speaker, I think whatever we do, whether the CP is going to go or not, those three people that we saw live, it's all over channel, it's all over YouTube, that were involved in that brawl must be sanctioned immediately. There was a policeman in uniform. I don't care whose side he belonged to, whether it was somebody's ADC or not, he should be summarily dismissed from the force. And secondly, the other gentleman who wore a white dress and was beating the other person with a tripod must be dealt with. He's a parliamentarian and it must be dealt with, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, today what we're doing is saving our country's democracy. We cannot sit there and say it cannot happen again. If anything happens to this democracy, this parliament will go, and that should not happen.
All right, and so there you have that, and Honorable Golden Chama is here with us. Give us your perspective. What actually happened on the day?
We reconvened yesterday, and when we reconvened, all members were given letters in compliance with the House rules that the House was going to reconvene. People were about to get there before they started attacking the Speaker, the leader. They came early. The House is supposed to sit by 10:30. Before we got there, they had chased out the Speaker, attacked him physically, attacked the leader, and it was also captured in our CCTV. Everybody had to leave the chambers. In that split second, they came with a mace, which you saw Evans BP holding. That was not the mace of the House of Assembly. Why was a member holding that mace?
Sorry, who was the member holding the mace dressed in white and a red cap?
No, that is not the mace. He came in when he had been battered initially. They all retreated from the chambers.
Okay, that's Chidi Lloyd.
Yeah, Chidi Lloyd.
With the red cap. Okay.
He was battered. They used the camera stand to break on his head. He was literally overpowered with the Speaker.
At what point? Before
that.
He was battered before he was holding that mace?
Yes. When he retreated back to his office and all that, to get some medical attention and all that, before he knew it, he heard that they had brought a mace and they were sitting. So with that anger and that fury, he bumped into the chambers and saw that the members were not there. They just had one member sitting on the Speaker's podium and one or two members. And they were said to be conducting the business of the House, which was wrong. And you must ask one question. The House is made of 32 members. By the House rules, you need 11 members to sit. That's what forms the quorum.
Okay. Let me take a look at this clip again, because you say Chidi Lloyd was battered.
Prior to that.
Okay. But there he is, holding that mace. If we take a look at that,
yes.
He's the one holding that mace, isn't he?
Yes.
He's the one battering the guy in suit.
Yes. No, what happened was, he came back when he heard that they were sitting.
And then he went for the...
because that was on the maze of the House.
Okay, that wasn't the maze.
That was not the maze of the House.
But why was he battering the guy in suit?
Because what they were doing was wrong. The House was not in session. They were interlopers.
Who was the man who was being battered?
From the picture of the clips, I noticed that I can't really pick it clearly, but I noticed that somebody was being battered, to be fair to you.
That was Honorable Evans BP.
No.
It wasn't him?
Evans BP is the one I saw when your clips were showing that was outside chasing cars with the mace.
Wow.
But you see, I think, just as you said, it's an unfolding drama. We have just seen At One Scene 1. And I hope we'll also get At One Scene 2. When the other pictures would come out, when the Speaker was attacked, when the House Leader was also attacked.
Okay, but there were images too of the same gentleman in white who you say was battered, but was seen in this clip battering the other gentleman there in suit. We later saw him in a picture circulated that he was in hospital.
Yes.
So how did that happen?
Yes,
Because
yes.
here he is, heel hurt, he battering traps, and then he
was battered initially.
Okay, he was initially
Yes,
battered.
Yes, initially was battered. And after this, he was also battered. Look at what happened, gentlemen. We were supposed to sit.
Okay.
The executive has sent us a letter. And what they gave to us is there's supposed to be some amendments to the budget or to the appropriation law. Then that is a serious matter. Because of the imbroglio that has been happening, we've not been able to sit. Now the Speaker and the leadership of the House said we should sit, send letters in compliance with the House rules. Members are just getting there. People got there as early as 9, the other group, the other 5, and before you knew it, had a mock section, sort of.
They had a mock session.
What would you call that?
Part of what they said was, according to their House rules, of which you remember, they said that there's this, is it Article 8, which talks about the process of appointing a Speaker pro tempore if the Speaker is not available to conduct proceedings. Is that correct?
Yeah. You see, if you look at the House rules were written for members. And in the House rules, it is also clearly written that for a House to sit, you need quorum. Without a quorum, the House have not sat.
What's quorum in this case?
And what is quorum from the House is 11 members. Now, the House was validly reconvened by the Speaker. The Speaker was there. The House leadership were there. Members were just coming in. They were singing banters, haven't seen for some time. Before you knew it, they started raining blows on people. Now, don't forget, what is here is what we have been shouting, that Rivers State is under siege. And we're not saying it because that we need to score political gains. No.
Is Rivers State really under siege?
You see, we are under siege for obvious reasons.
By who?
If you listen the last 2 weeks, the Commissioner of Police granted the press interview where he said the governor was dictatorial. And my little knowledge of government, a civil servant or a military man should not be heard, but seen. For him to grant that interview, for his voice to be heard that a governor of a state he's supposed to be serving is dictatorial, then where does it leave us?
So he doesn't have a right to his opinion anymore.
See, your opinion cannot be heard to the extent of creating disharmony. Because if your personal interest overrides your duties, then you should excuse yourself in uniform.
On the day of the change of leadership, the faction of the House, loyal to Amechi, said that they sat in plenary and that the deputy governor presented an amendment bill to them. So the House functioned. Even the day that yesterday, even when the National Assembly was debating the issue of the Rivers State House of Assembly, the two factions were also ready to sit, but for the police intervention and all that. So
They
if
were going to sit in the same assembly?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, that was yesterday. So if they sat on Tuesday and we are ready to sit on Wednesday, so at what point and where is the evidence upon which the House based its conclusion?
So were they going to sit together yesterday?
The House will be open and every member is expected to be there. If you don't come, that is your own volition. Of course, there was nothing wrong with that. There's a new leadership of the House and the new leadership was ready to resume duties.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't understand. A new leadership?
Yes.
Is it possible that 5 people can impeach or remove someone, 5 out of 32?
In law.
Is that how it works?
In law. The Constitution provides the number of people that can remove the leadership, the Speaker of a House of Assembly. In principle, there's no doubt about that. Every case must be visited on its merit. Did 5 people in Rivers State impeach the Speaker? The answer is no. They did not. The House has started sitting. The Speaker was properly impeached, from what I heard. When they noticed that the Speaker had been impeached, some of them left. Particularly the leader left to go and inform the governor that this is what had happened in the House. The return of the governor with the leader, Chidi Lloyd, the man carrying the mace and wanting to kill the other, was what precipitated violence. That was the origin of the violence. Prior to that time, there was no violence in the House.
Well, you said the Speaker was properly impeached?
Yes, from what I heard.
What did you...
Inappropriate compliance with the law.
That means with more than 5 people?
Sure! How can 5 people impeach a speaker? Is it possible?
Wow.
It's not possible.
That's a new twist.
It is not possible. Because the point I'm making is that the House had commenced sitting. From the information I got, the House had commenced sitting. Both the pro-Amechi and the anti-Amechi group and all that. But I think there's something that we must know here. We'll possibly begin to look at something that may point to the Jonah Jang Amechi election thing. You remember the story of the 19 signatures and all that. What the Governor Amechi perhaps didn't quite understand is that some of the people he thinks are with him are clearly not with him. And that is the reason why he is now uncomfortable with the House of Assembly and how to resort to the National Assembly to seize the power of legislative function in Rivers State, which excludes the power of impeachment by the House of Representatives. That one has been settled. So by the House of Representatives, you could see the way arguments were going on there yesterday. The hasty nature with which the House of Representatives attended to the Rivers State matter shows you clearly that they just wanted to save Amechi from being impeached. That's all. Because they do not have power, even though they have power to exercise legislative functions for Rivers State House of Assembly, they do not have the power to impeach the governor. The Constitution excludes their power from them. So that's it.
Well, can we just go back a little bit?
Yes.
We had a guest here, a member of the State House of Assembly yesterday, who said that it takes a quorum of 11 members for the House to seat. That's what makes a quorum. And according to him, there was no quorum, that they had not even begun to sit when the 5 people impeached, supposedly or purportedly impeached the Speaker. But you're now saying that they had met and impeached the Speaker before the leader went out to inform the governor. How does that work?
Information available to me, which I have no reason to doubt, shows that House had commenced sitting. But let us even go back to Honorable Chairman. How many people were there when he himself was there, if he was in the House? How many people did he see there? Who opened the chambers? All the officers of the House were present. The clerk was there. The sergeant at arms was there. Who opened the chambers? The point I'm making is clearly, some of them do not want to go back to begin to receive the lashing from Amechi. That's it. That's what has happened. You can see even in the so-called 19 signature thing and all that, some governors were saying, okay, we put our names there, but when it came to actual voting, a different thing happened. These are some of the arguments that you must put together. But you see, the Rivers State problem must be taken in totality. You just will not isolate one from the other. You cannot. Because sometimes, I felt so bad yesterday, listening to debates in Abuja. Some of those guys there don't even know what is happening in Port Harcourt. They just sit down there in Abuja, and some of them don't even read newspapers and begin to act on sentiments and unnecessary values and all that. Amechi has singled out these 5 young men for a very long time for punishment. What was their offense? That the leadership of the House wanted to pass a vote of confidence on Amechi and to condemn Jonathan on the floor of the House. And these young people said, no, don't do that. Jonathan is from this House out. In any case, what are we commending Amechi for? Is he not doing what he's supposed to do under the Constitution? That was what caused the problem. And they marked these 5 people out, terminated their allowances and all that. And these are also people from Rivers State. They are also representing Rivers people. And every effort made by people to get Amechi and the leadership of the House to see reason, all these things failed.
Can they terminate their allowances?
Yes, they did. Up till now, they don't earn allowances. They don't earn allowances. And I speak so on authority. They don't earn allowances. And following this crisis, all he has been doing is pumping millions of naira to the other people that are loyal to him and continuously punishing these other people. Are they not human beings? You drive people to a point where they will say no to you. And when they begin to react, people will not refuse to see the immediate cause and begin to take on the effect. So Amechi is always the cause of the problem in Rivers State, like we've been saying. His leadership style is ugly.